heat up your frozen dinners, grab your TV tray, and settle in for another episode of the Plus Platoon, your podcast for all things Disney Plus, brought to you by Disney Plus fans. Watch along with us every week as we cover all the new, the old, the good, and the bad on Disney Plus. So put down that remote, don't touch that dial, and welcome your fabulous Plus Platoon host.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Plus Platoon. We're a Disney Plus fan podcast that gives honest, spoiler-filled reviews of movies and shows on Disney Plus. We'll look at new releases, coming attractions, and we'll even go back into the vault to revisit some of the classic Disney that's on the platform. Make sure you're subscribed and you will never miss a moment. I'm going to bring in Kate. Kate, good to see you this week.
Good to see you too. I'm excited to talk about Wishes and not the fireworks show.
Oh, can it be the fireworks show, please? Please. That I think we would all prefer to talk about.
I would agree with that.
Next, we've got Pete. Pete, how you doing?
Hello. Yes, I wish that's my wish. Was that what we're talking about? Wishes.
And I just wish Wishes would come back. Wishes was such a great fireworks show.
It was so good. Amen.
Yeah. I do like Happily Ever After, though.
Yes, I do.
Not as good as Wishes, but yeah.
Do you want a story or do you want a fireworks show?
That.
Do you want a story with the projections and everything?
Happily Ever After is great.
Happily Ever After works. If you want a true fireworks, actually, if you want a true fireworks show, you're going to go for Fantasy in the Sky.
If we're going to talk this, you got to bring Steve in. Come on.
Yeah, but he's Disneyland. He doesn't count. So.
Oh, shots fired.
Our biggest thing is we have the water up in the air and watch it splash. So, guys, if you have not already, please like, subscribe, share. We've got some fun shows coming up, and you won't want to miss them. But tonight, because it debuted on Disney Plus, we are watching the newest Disney animation release, Wish. It has set a record in its first 3 or 4 days for something in the neighborhood of 14.5 or 15 million views on Disney Plus. To me, what that tells me is no one went to see it in the theaters.
Well, we know that.
Well, yeah. So, guys, I'm just going to dive right into this. Pete, what, if anything, worked for this movie?
Well, what worked for me, I like anytime Alec Tudyk shows up and does a voice in an animated movie, and he has been in many Disney movies of late. I think of King Candy in the Wreck-It Ralph movie he did. There's a couple others recently, but he did the voice of the goat, which I will not be able to remember the name of. But Valentino, yes. So I enjoyed hearing Alan Tudyk. I thought he did a great job with that role. And I will also say a lot of people worked very hard on this movie, and they really tried to make a movie that was original story. We didn't just sit through a sequel. So
okay, that's fair.
That's a good point.
This could have been, Shrek 5. So
Cars 5.
Yeah. So I'll give them at least trying to tell a somewhat original tale. I'm going to leave it at that for right now. So Steve, you got anything good to say?
I'll say I liked the story premise. Did they execute it well? That's the problem. I liked the story premise. I liked when the nods were subtle to other Disney films.
Time out. Yes. There were subtle nods?
Well, okay, before the show started, we talked about the blatant, you hold up the orb and there's Peter Pan. Did not like that one. The ones I had enjoyed, for example, all of her friends represent the 7 dwarfs.
Again, that was subtle with one dress like Dopey.
Oh, I missed that one.
Well, I mean, but
whoa, Kate, you missed that?
Okay, yeah, I missed that one.
I'd say the Dopey one. I picked up on the Dopey one, but it did not hit me until I watched the extras that each of them represented.
Literally, one of them said, "I know I'm grumpy."
That's why I'm always grumpy. Yes,
but I mean, there were other subtle ones. Like the one I liked was when you had the poison apple when it was in the background. Later they did a zoom in and that just ruined it. But there were subtle things like watching the extras. I noticed from her dress they had pumpkin seeds, which was a reference to Cinderella. So like those little nods that were sort of more hidden, they weren't all subtle. When they were sly and they tucked it in was much better. That's what I liked. So
to me, I'll give them a little bit of props for a semi-original story. I will go with that, Pete. I will agree with you on that one.
Oh, that's when he said that's why I'm always grumpy. I get it now.
Oh wow.
Sorry.
Oh, wow.
I figured it out when I counted that there were 7 of them.
I didn't get it until I actually watched the special and I went
all the time, and one was sleepy, and one dressed like exactly the purple hat, the green shirt, like Dopey, and
I got it pretty quick. So
anyway, I actually liked, for the most part, the humor from the star. For the most part, the star worked.
Yes. I will give you that. I was thinking of saying that. So
to me, the star worked. Okay.
Sometimes.
I knew you were gonna do that. Okay, so I think I went in with really low expectations on this movie, which I had heard mixed reviews. I had heard it good and bad. Some of the songs were decent. Some of them. I thought the premise, just like what Steve said, the premise of the movie, I liked. I was like, oh, this is creative. Like, I like this. This isn't 100% a story we've heard before. It's not a sequel. So I enjoyed that. The star, which is the character that had no lines, in my opinion, stole the show. One of the parts that made me laugh out loud is when it might have been the goat. It was either the girl or the goat said, "Be incognito." And he had the mustache with the yarn. He like had a mustache and then he just like walked. That made me laugh out loud. There were a couple parts that made me out loud chuckle. And of course now I'm not gonna be able to think of them. The goat now makes sense because there was goat merchandise for a while and I didn't know why. And so now that makes sense to me. But yeah, overall, I didn't hate it. Yeah, overall, I didn't hate it. But it did leave some to be desired, but I feel like it could have been way worse.
And
put that on the video box.
It could have been way worse.
Yeah. I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate
it. It could have been the Marvels.
I liked the Marvels.
I would rather rewatch the Marvels than this.
It could have been Secret Invasion.
Okay,
That's fair. I'll give you that.
Okay,
we'll go there.
Now, Steve, just because I feel generous and I'm not going to immediately start off on this one, what made you wish it was over?
The music. I mean, they were decent songs, but I felt no connection. Nothing was memorable when it was done. I felt like I went to a musical and was like, I heard some songs, but nothing that really stuck out to me like you expect from a Disney song. Like there was nothing there. That didn't really work for me. Like I said, I liked the story premise. I just don't think it was done well. It was very predictable. But now I wanted at least somewhat of a surprise. Like, yeah. I mein,
okay. To me, the first song was a complete Encanto knockoff. We're gonna do a simple song about what our village does. Okay. And I usually don't like I don't like some of Lin-Manuel Miranda's stuff, and that's one I didn't really like. This was much. I mean, again, none of these were memorable. I would agree, Steve, that this had so much. This could have had potential. this could have had such potential. Guys, we got to talk about the animation. We've got to talk about the animation. This was originally designed to be a completely done 2D animation movie.
Really?
Yes. They changed it to a computer animated movie because bottom line is their artists were not good enough. Because they just because they
hired my
said
daughter.
they could not do enough with camera angles and backgrounds and setting to do it 2D animation, which to me reads our animators weren't good enough.
So can I ask a question really quick? When you say 2D animation,
completely hand drawn.
All hand drawn. Okay, thank you.
That is why her skin looks like it was painted in the old Disney watercolor way, and her hair was so obviously CGI that it was distracting. It's why all their skins look great or look one way, have kind of that flat traditional. They were going to do it with the original Disney, the different watercolors that they did in some of their old movies.
What was the last Disney animated movie that was done in 2D animation?
Princess and the Frog.
Princess and the Frog.
Well,
not Encanto?
No. One of them. What recently was?
Technically, Winnie the Pooh was after Princess. There was a Winnie the Pooh sequel after Princess and the Frog, but I'm kind of not counting.
Those are all hand drawn. So, Princess and the Frog was the last commercially successful hand drawn. They did do the 100th anniversary short was all hand drawn, but and that kind of rolls us over into our next question, which we're not going to get there. I'm not going to send us there quite yet, but from the beginning, the look was so distracting to me. The characters did not match the background. The characters did not match other parts of their character. My boy came and sat in for 5 minutes, and on some of the songs, the lips did not match what was being sung.
Oh no!
Oh, and it was bad. Lips did not match what was being sung. I think it was the one where they were all deciding to go. It was the
big fight song.
It was the Kill the Beast song.
Right.
Oh, see, I thought "Be a Man" from Mulan.
That Be a Man's earlier in the movie. This is the this and the nods. Oh my god, the fan service. The moment that just completely summed up the entire movie is at the very end. When there's the fireworks, the stars coming out, looks at the camera, does the Mickey head, comes back, winks at the camera, and then goes up over the castle.
Did I miss that?
You must have, because that was like right before the credits. That was like
I not to skip Kate, but I rolled my eyes so hard several times, and the one that got me was when the bear and the deer are talking, and one is Bambi, and the other one is John, which is Little John from Robin Hood, and I was like, "Oh, come on!"
Or you have the Neverland, Fantasyland. How about Neverland? And you literally see the Peter Pan pike in the thing. And then you have Perfect Nanny for your two spoiled, rotten kids. Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, I was, as I said, it was the Bambi thing was earlier, and that's where I was like, stop it now.
Yeah,
was the one for me was when I don't even remember who was talking, but somebody was like something we're crazy, and somebody goes, "I love crazy," and I was like, "Ew," from because they say that in Frozen right before Love's an Open Door, and I was like, did I hear that right? Because
I didn't catch that.
I did not know that there were going to be throwback or like I didn't know that this was going to have that in it. So go ahead, finish what you were saying there.
Unless you are, to me, if you are directly referencing the same universe, throwbacks can be okay, but even then, that can be overdone. And I will be the first to admit, Ghostbusters Afterlife. I love Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters Afterlife had too many throwbacks.
Yes,
but if you're not in the same universe, maybe one in the movie. Like for Hercules, maybe when he had the lion was Scar.
Yeah.
That's one of the first one of those break the fourth walls I remember.
Yeah, that was
So-
good
Well,
though.
Zazu singing "It's a Small World."
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they did.
But
yeah,
I'm with you. Like once, because it takes you out of the movie. When it happens, it takes you out of the movie because now you're thinking of it as, oh, I'm watching a movie, not they're telling me a story.
Right.
So if you do it once, it can work. If you do
Well,
it
that's what
50
all the
times,
time.
I liked it when they were subtle. Like I felt like the Seven Dwarfs
Yeah.
things
That-
was subtle. There was a nod, but it didn't take away.
Once you
But the Peter
saw
Pan
it,
one really
that's all
bothered
you
me.
could see.
Yeah.
Once you saw the Seven
Yeah.
Dwarfs, that's all you could see.
Yes.
So,
But Derek, talking about the animation, they talked in the extras about how they use some techniques because I guess in you're doing 2D where there's lines, and they talked about how they tried to add the lines in the CG to get sort of the same. It was fascinating when they talked there. I don't think they were
didn't
successful at it, but they talked about how they tried to merge the two. So
you either need to do hand drawn or you need to do CGI.
I'm going to make an argument against that, but it's Kate's turn.
It is Kate's
My
turn.
turn. So when it comes to, because I will agree, the animation, Casey and I both watched this, and he was very upset with the animation. I couldn't figure out why I didn't like it. Like I was like, it's good, like it's pretty. I just can't figure out. And I finally said, this feels like it should be on Disney Junior. The animation feels
Yes.
like it was Sophia the First from Disney Junior.
I'm
It
not even
has
sure
a-
it was that good.
It has that Disney Junior feel to it. And I was like, why do I feel like that? Like, what is the difference between this and Encanto? Why am I bothered by this animation? And because it felt like it was going to be on a Disney Junior,
Yeah.
Um,
It was exactly what Derek said, which is they tried to merge two different styles, and
Got
the way they did it did not work.
didn't work. So so there was that. That left some wanting. I was really bothered by, and I actually made a note about this so that I could remember the villain song where it's the "This Is the Thanks I Get" song. That should have been in a minor key.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been in a major key.
It
It
should have
didn't
had,
work.
it didn't have a memorable musical theme.
Correct. And I didn't hate every song. I actually liked when all of them started singing about "Now Make a Wish" and then they had the little light. I actually liked that
For
song.
me, that
But
one
this
scene did
one-
work.
This one, it needed to be darker. It was too happy of a song. It was like, "This is the thanks I get." Ooh, like no, like I don't want jazz hands here. I wanted it to give like "Be Prepared" or
Mother Knows Best.
"Mother Knows Best" or and this isn't a Disney movie technically, or maybe it is now, but from Anastasia, "In the Dark of the Night." That Rasputin sings with Bartok. I needed it to have like a darker edge to it. And when the villain was singing, his voice didn't sound right. Like he had a deep speaking voice, and then he started singing and he was a tenor. And I was like, you need I need like a Norm Lewis singing voice from you. And that's just the musician in me coming out. Like that just bothered me a lot. But
Was that Chris Pine legit singing? Does anybody know?
I'm looking it up right now.
I
think
didn't
so.
know he was voiced by Chris Pine. That I can
Yeah.
see that now. I can
And yes,
see
it is
that.
him singing.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted him to have a little bit more bass to his voice, just being a villain, I guess. But so I did not pick up on as many of the Disney slap you in the face as much as you guys did. I hated that they had Peter Pan. Hated it. Hated it. Hated it. Hated it. Hated it. That pulled me out of the movie.
And also,
That was when it hit me the hardest, was when he showed up at the end. But oh shoot,
Yeah.
there was one more.
That's right, he showed up again.
There was one more thing. that I did not care for.
Pete and Villains, and we'll come back to you.
Yeah, come back to me.
So years ago, we would have said this felt like a movie written by committee. And nowadays, I would say this felt like a movie written by AI. There was, the movie was just blah. The songs were blah. The characters were blah. The story was kind of blah. Like it's hard for me to call it bad because it was too bland to be genuine. And even the villain, I was looking forward to a Disney villain because that's one thing that's been missing from Disney movies the last 10, 15 years is a lot of times they would have the circumstances be the bad thing or, a misunderstood person or something like that. And it was like, okay, this is going to be a villain.
And we were promised a Disney villain.
Right. We were promised a Disney villain. And yeah, he was a villain. But first of all, he was like, they wanted to pretend right at the beginning he wasn't a villain. But I was literally like, how is she the first person to notice that this guy is taking everybody's wishes from them and not granting them back? And I was like, how? Like, why is everybody okay with this right from the beginning? It doesn't make it, like, the whole premise didn't make sense to me. But I just, everything was just so bland. Like the Disney management just like flattened everything. And like the friends being the Seven Dwarfs again, like that should have been like 2 or 3 people. They did not need 7 people there.
Yeah,
but clearly someone was, like I kind of liked her friend, the Doc character, the one with the glasses. But like I didn't need all these other characters there but just to squeeze in that, we're doing the Seven Dwarves, and I mean I can agree, I can see where that wasn't the most offensive of the obvious things to me until he was like, well, of course I'm grumpy, and I'm like, oh my god, please.
Over my head.
There's so much of that. And even like, did anyone else do this? She sang the Wish Star and the Wish song, and then the wish was granted. And Yolanda and I was, what exactly did she wish for? And we actually rewound the movie to rewatch it. And I still didn't really get what she wished for. Well, she like wished for to be able to help to make things better or something like that. Like why, and why did that wish, why was her wish granted? Like it wasn't a specific wish, it was this vague thing. And I just I like Kate, I had low expectations. I wanted to like this movie. I did not like this movie.
Okay, Kate, what was the one thing you were going to say?
I did. I remembered 2 things. The music felt forced.
Mm-hmm.
In shows and movies like Tangled, even in Encanto, and I think Steve was saying this, the music flows. The music, and Casey said this earlier, the music progresses the storyline. The songs add to the storyline. They make you understand a character better. They, even like in Encanto, Surface Pressure, which is one of my favorite Disney songs. It's so brilliantly written. That gives us such a look into,
Louisa?
Yes, Louisa. It gives you such a look into her, who she is. All of these songs just felt really forced. There wasn't, and listen, I'm a music person, and I hear a song. When I watched Encanto, I actually didn't like Encanto for the first time when we did our review of it. It's fine. But I loved Surface Pressure. I was like, that's a banger. And there were no songs in here. And Casey and I even said, one of the songs, I can't remember which one it was now. He was like, I feel like this is a ripoff of Fixer Upper from Frozen. Like, this is just straight out of
I felt like they were all ripoffs of something better.
It was the song with the when Wish came down, the star came down and made all the animals talk. I was like, I feel like this is Fantasia meets Zootopia.
meets Whistle While You Work.
Yeah. So that was one. And then the other one was that I was bothered. You couldn't tell what the heritage basis of this movie was. Like Encanto, it's very clear that this is a very Hispanic story. Arendelle from Frozen, it's very clear that it's a very Norse kind of feel to it. This, I kept going, where is this set? Like, is she like African American? Is she Hispanic? But no one else. I that bothered me that I couldn't pinpoint, like it felt very thrown together, I think is how Pete said it. So those were the two things that I forgot.
Yeah, they did at the beginning say it was a Mediterranean island, which was I thought rather specific for how vague they kept it than the rest of the movie.
I didn't pick up on that at all.
And to me, for the music, it needed an Under the Sea. It needed a Hakuna Matata. It needed a happy, upbeat song. And there wasn't one.
Well, I think the one they tried to do there was the chicken one.
Oh, it was terrible.
And that chicken thing could have been completely eliminated from the movie.
So, okay. As we have discussed, the animation on this was not great. The storytelling on this was not great. The music on this was not great. Disney has not hit a true winner in a while on their animation stuff. I'm going to start with Kate on this one.
Okay.
Is this the beginning of the end for Disney animation? How will Disney continue to try and do animated shows, or will they just hand it off to Pixar?
I don't think this is the end of Disney animation. I do think this is the beginning. I think, you know how Marvel goes in phases? Like there's different phases. I think this is a different phase. And I think it's going to be experimental as we dive into AI things, as we try to figure out what type of animation we want to use, whether we want to use CGI or 2D, 3D, whatever. I don't think because animation was such a pillar to Walt Disney, and Disney animation is so prevalent, I don't think it will ever go away. However, they haven't had, other than maybe Encanto, I don't feel like they have had a knockdown, drag out, really blockbuster movie since Frozen that has really taken over. And maybe I have a jaded view of that because I worked for the parks and Frozen took over the parks, but I don't think it's done, but I do think there's going to be some growing pains. What about you, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, Encanto was only 2 movies ago, so I have a hard time calling this the death knell.
No, I didn't say that. I said, is it the beginning of the end?
At the beginning of the end, yeah. But I'm going to say this. The last movie before this was Strange World, which I would say is even worse than this movie.
Horrid. Was horrible.
So those are the last 2 Walt Disney animation movies, and they were both genuinely bad. Now, I'm just flipping through. I mean, going forward, we got Moana 2 and Zootopia 2 are the next 2 movies. So, we're getting in sequel mode. We are definitely on a downswing. I mean, Disney historically has done this up, down, up, down. I would say,
what was the latest up?
I would argue from Princess and the Frog through probably Frozen. Because Zootopia was in there, Moana,
Wreck-It
Ralph, Frozen,
Tangled.
Big Hero 6,
Tangled.
Tangled was right before Frozen. So I think in the teens or whatever you want to say, I think they had a pretty good run. I think since again, looking through the list, the last few were Ralph Breaks the Internet.
You had Raya and Encanto.
Raya, which was okay.
Raya.
I liked it. It wasn't great, but I think
blockbuster.
But it was far better than any of these. And then Encanto, but I wouldn't even Encanto. It wasn't a hit. It took time to grow. So it wasn't like Frozen was. So I think, I think the down has been the last, probably since Frozen 2. Things haven't been going great for them, and they haven't been going great for Pixar, quite honestly. I enjoyed Luca a lot, but you have Lightyear in there, which wasn't great. You have Onward in there, which wasn't great. So I think they're struggling for
Onward.
sure.
I think Onward got shafted because the pandemic hit right when Onward came out. I don't think Onward got the clout it should have gotten.
Probably not, but and I think Disney has responded poorly with their animation, pushing it to streaming, which has hurt it more. And I think they're trying to course correct with this being the first movie that they've actually given
let it play out,
4 months before they put it out on streaming, so that people maybe think they have to go see things in the theater in the future, but they got to put out better movies. So I don't think it's the beginning of the end. I think we're in a lull, and hopefully they can find a way they can get the right management in place to correct themselves. But I feel like right now they're clearly, it's almost like they're trying too hard. And I did want to mention on the previous topic, there's another Wish movie, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which was the 6th Shrek movie, I guess, kind of, but it was the second Puss in Boots movie that actually did 3D animation combined with 2D animation, and it kind of switched back and forth between the two. But that was genuinely a well done, entertaining movie with very impressive animation, and which I was very surprised by, because there hasn't been a good Shrek movie since the first one. And so it can be done that you could combine 3D and 2D and make for interesting animation
if you do it intentionally.
Well, yeah. So, and I think they did it to save money also. But anyways, so Steve, sorry, what's your opinion on this beginning of the end?
I agree. I have really nothing much to add. I don't think it's the end. It's definitely currently a downward trend. Hopefully they could turn it around. And I don't know if they need to go to already fairy tales, like the classics are, and tell their version, or try to stick with original stories. But
yeah,
I think it's just it's that downward rating for, I guess, when they hit Little Mermaid and Lion King, this sort of resurgence of great animation.
Black Cauldron or Great Mouse Detective of the whole thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we are right now, unfortunately.
Yeah. I very well think this could be the tipping point. Looking at the proxy fight that was just had during the shareholders meeting, where all of a sudden money making is more than the product is really coming in. I think that there was a point in time, was it after Lion King, where basically they got rid of just about everybody who was doing the actual animation. And there was a point where, I think, if I remember right, there was a point where there were less than 30 people actually working in Disney animation. And it's
when was
that? Think the On the Range era, Home on the Range era,
early 2000s.
Yeah, but I hope it's not. I hope, Kate, you're right, that they value the animation so much that this is what Disney was built on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think they got to get some better story writers, because, and Steve, your answer may be the go back to a fairy tale that hasn't been told yet. There are some that they have not done. They have, honestly, I could see them doing Hansel and Gretel. No.
That would be a fantastic villain.
See, we got to have a villain. The good movies are when you have a villain. Or that shock villain. In Zootopia 1, the lamb mayor being the villain is one of those, but that's that last minute super surprise twist. Yeah. It's in Frozen where it's the prince,
Hans,
which was or was not a shock depending on who you were. But
I was shocked.
I think the last true villain.
But can we have a legit villain that's, because like that's another thing with this villain, it's like he wasn't really even all that evil
until he got a hold of the Darkhold.
Right, but even then he's just like taking people's wishes that he'd already taken. I mean, he didn't kill anybody. He didn't actually, like, he threatened a lot of people, but he didn't
their dreams, literally.
He crushed their dreams that they no longer knew about because they gave them to him. Like it's the people's own fault.
Yeah, they enabled him. So
yeah,
okay.
Plot twist: the people are actually the villain.
The people were the evil all the time.
I was waiting for the goat to do something super evil, but although
twist.
Wait a minute. Never mind. Anyway, so I was going to say, according to Maui, she was a Disney princess, animal sidekick, singing songs. So, okay, guys, as we always do on movies like this, Pixie Dust ratings, cups of 5. Let's let the best go first. Kate.
Yeah, I would give it a. What did I rank in Encanto? Can you tell me that, Derek?
You ranked, that was a while ago. That was a long time ago, apparently. Encanto, you gave Encanto a 4.5.
Wow, really? I thought I ranked it low. I thought I didn't like it. JK, LOL. I might have gone in and changed. That may have been when we did recalibrations. I might have recalibrated that one. Anyway, I would give this a 2.
And okay, sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hey, did you think I was going to go higher?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go at least 2.5.
I think we're going to go at least 3.
Do it 2.5. Do it 2.5.
No.
Okay.
I won't go back. Okay.
This on the same level as Bambi.
Oh. I would rewatch this before I would rewatch Bambi.
You give Bambi a 2.
Oh, good then. Yeah, I guess give this a 2.5. I wish I could go
I'm just saying.
I know.
Close.
What have I given a 2.5 to?
The Operation Arctic Cure, Lady and the Tramp got a 2.5.
This is making for great podcasting, I have to tell you guys.
Yeah, give it a 2.5. It's fine.
Okay, Pete.
If I had to rewatch it, I would be fine.
I would rewatch Bambi 10 times before I watch this again. 1.5.
I'm going with the 2.
I'm going to 1.5. Yeah, this was not good, and no one expected it to be good. So, guys, this is really a case of we watched it. So, if you're still sticking with us on this podcast, you don't have to. Please watch just about any. No, don't watch this.
I will say, letting your kids watch it would not be tragic. Like, I wouldn't sit down and watch it with them, but like, if your kids want to watch it,
it's an easy, safe movie for kids to watch.
Right. It's not super scary.
I'm gonna get scared.
The goat and the star are cute, and it's just as an adult who has loved animation my entire life, this was bad.
Yeah. Okay, Kate, what do we got for the Disney Plus news this week?
Sorry, there's cars driving by outside, so I was muting myself. In Disney Plus news, the new documentary Jim Henson, Idea Man, will be coming to Disney Plus sometime this summer, likely in August. It looks at some of the early work by Henson, as well as looks into the development of many of the Muppets we know today. I look forward to that. That could be really good.
This.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that could be really good.
Yes.
The History Channel will be debuting the series How Disney Built America on April 28th. The episodes will be on Disney Plus the day after they are on television. So far, 2 of the 6 episodes have been given titles: The Birth of Mickey and Dawn of the Animated Blockbuster.
I do not see this having any new information.
Probably not.
Oh, no, for sure not.
So
It'll be
Okay.
interesting to see how they package it, though.
yeah, I mean, I'll watch it. We probably won't watch it on here unless it's like groundbreaking, but
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it.
Did you say this is History Channel?
It's History Channel, yeah.
So how are they going to bring Hitler into it?
No.
Isn't everything
That's
on
fair.
History Channel about Hitler?
No, George Washington.
Oh, okay.
So, now I will say I really like the original, The Men Who Built America is like Carnegie and Rockefeller.
Yeah.
That is a very good series. I highly recommend that one. It's not on Disney Plus at all, but ever since then, it's, this that built America, the food that built America. And I'm going, isn't America built already? So, okay. Next week, we have got some series we got to get caught up on. I know Pete has been chomping at the bit to do Bad Batch, in season 2 of Bad Batch. Hopefully, Gina will be here so someone else will care. I've got a couple I've been watching, and we'll just be hitting real quick on some series, let you know if they're worth your time or if they're not worth your time, and let you know what we think of them. Guys, if you have suggestions on what we should watch, there's a series you really want us to watch, email us at plusplatoon@gmail.com. We respond to all the messages we get. I start to think no one really cares because no one's been messaging me lately. But
I'll message you, Derek.
Oh, thank you. And actually, guys, if you'll stick around for a bonus episode at some point, probably later this week, I review Six Flags Over Texas. And my experience there as a complete Disney file. So, and there's some stuff that, yeah. So anyway, there's some definite opinions on that one. But for back to the Disney Plus stuff, there are new episodes every Thursday on YouTube and all the major podcasting services. For Kate, Peter, and Steve, Gina, whose husband we hope gets better quickly, we will see everyone next week. Bye, guys.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Plus Platoon. Be sure to subscribe to the Plus Platoon podcast to keep getting great content each week. Then head over to Apple Podcast and leave those 5-star reviews as they help make the Plus Platoon visible to even more Disney Plus fans. Also, go to YouTube and like and subscribe to the Plus Platoon channel, where you can watch all future episodes live. If you have a question for the Plus Platoon, please send us an email to plusplatoon@gmail.com or connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram @plusplatoon.
The Plus Platoon is a Disney Plus fan podcast and is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or the Disney Plus streaming service. All opinions expressed on the show are solely those of the individual hosts and in no way reflect the views of the Walt Disney Company.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for next week's episode because the Plus Platoon is to be continued.